1 billion years younger than originally thought. This is ABC News.
Confused by all the weight loss plans out there? You're not alone. Before discovering Noom, I tried almost everything to lose weight. I changed diets, changed exercises, I even changed personal trainers. But with Noom, I learned the one thing I really needed to change, my mind. Based in psychology, Noom uses small goals to help change the habits that have been holding you back. So you not only lose the weight, you learn how to keep it off. Start changing your mind and the rest will follow. Visit Noom, Noom.com today and lose the weight for good.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center for Beaumont and the Pass area, mostly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of 82. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 78 and increasing clouds tomorrow night with a low of 50. Sunday, partly cloudy with a high of 75. For the Inland Empire, sunny with a high of 83 today, and for Palm Springs, sunny and warm with a high of 94. I'm Rich Summers for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Well, as the train is rolling on, this is Jay Kaplan, and welcome this afternoon to the Educated Retirement Radio here, where KMET 1490 AM, where we are trying to contemplate our retirement or what we're going to do when we get to our retirement. Let's prepare for retirement. Me, I ain't retired. I'm not even sure if I want to be, but, well, you know what? That's maybe for a whole show. We could get into that. But in the meantime, you'll excuse me while I try to breathe. We're going to discuss tools to make retirement better, easier, and even more productive. So, write this number down, 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532. And remember to keep a tab open on your browser to www.kmet, and that's 1490 AM, and www, the Educated Retirement Radio, for more questions and answers with almost daily updates. So, let me see if I can get the video turned on here. It's being weird, but then again, if you don't see me, maybe that's a treat, you know what I mean? It says, my Skype says it's turned on, but do you see it there, Sean? It's good? Are you sure you're looking at me then? Don't answer that. Anyway, we have a special guest today we're trying to get a hold of. His problem of not getting a hold of us is not his, it's basically mine. But, oh, there I am. Now I see me. Oh, what a treat. I'm just talking at my monitor, so pay no attention to me. But we'll try to get a hold of him for the second or third segment, because he is a attorney, elder care attorney. His name is John Kinley Styskal, and I'm going to talk about him because I'm pretty sure we are going to get a hold of him. And he received his undergraduate degree from the University of Southern California and is a graduate of Chapman University Law School. John is an attorney. I'm going to read this because sometimes people get, they get a little, what should I say? They get a little ashamed of talking about themselves. So we'll talk about him for him, okay? And he excels in asserting his client's needs while maintaining the highest degree of ethics. He'll always act in the best interest of his clients, and he is respected by other attorneys in the field. Many hold him in the highest regard in terms of his compliance, professionalism, and attention to detail. Are we talking about me? I forgot. Oh, no. And continuing success in his law practice and large client base reflects all that good stuff. So John's practice areas: elder law, estate planning, and probate. And you know how important that is. Okay. Today is, speaking of days, the day has gone to the birds, Audubon Day. And Mr. Audubon popped into the world in 1785, jumped out in 1851. He was a wildlife illustrator. I think most of us know that. And he, mostly with birds, or, that was his specialty. Just like my specialty going through school was marine ecology, and I've been in banking ever since. The first one who used bird bands for tracking. And I don't mean secret messages. I mean, for tracking from a scientific point of view. And he started his career by owning a general store in Louisville in Kentucky till 1819, and published a book called Birds of America in 1827, which kept getting newer versions right through 1838. Now, his wife was a teacher, and it was one of her students that organized and launched the Audubon Society. So I think that's pretty interesting stuff. So now, if you see any birds carrying pretzels today, it's National Pretzel Day, and it's been thus since 2003. The largest, I know you're asking, you're thinking this right now, that the largest pretzel weighed 1,728 pounds. It was, in fact, 29 feet 3 inches long and 13 feet 3 inches wide, and it was a claim to fame in El Salvador. So average American, you know that the average American eats 2 pounds of pretzels. I thought it was per day. I would have easily thought of a month, but that's a year. 2 pounds of pretzels a year. And in Philadelphia, and I don't know, maybe you can call in and tell me why, in Philadelphia, they eat 12 pounds a year. So the pretzel capital of the world is Philadelphia. And there's more. I know you're excited to hear some more about pretzels. No, you don't. You don't get to hear any more about pretzels, so go eat some. It's National Arbor Day, and that's been since 1872, and it's a celebration of trees. So go and plant a tree so that we can grow more pretzels. So the oldest tree is actually older than I am. Believe it? No? Okay. The oldest tree has a name called Methuselah. It's 4,850 years old, a bristlecone pine, and that's in the White Mountains of Inyo County, California. Now, knock on wood is, let me try to, I got in the way. That's the closest thing to wood I can find. Knock on wood comes from a very primitive pagan saying used to tap or knock on trees to summons the protective spirits that reside in trees. First thing that comes to mind would be Bigfoot, because I think, don't they communicate that way quite a bit? So let me get real quick to who I am again. The Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490, and write this number down, 951-922-3532, and we will talk to you as soon as you call in. So give us a call. We also sometimes, not always, but I like to talk about what my friend Ron Siegel, who is in Santa Rosa, no, he's not. He's in Paso Robles. Both are wine areas, though, so that's easy. This weekend. So have a great time, Ron. And Ron has his own show on finance and home buying and selling and that kind of thing on a couple other stations, which I'm sure it's okay to say here. One of them being ESPN, and I'm on his show very regularly. But he likes to say that all of us need a household board of directors. And on that board of directors, you know, those lists you have on your refrigerator, you need to have an attorney, or maybe more than one attorney, because they specialize quite a bit. You need a financial planner, a tax expert, a realtor, and mortgage experts, because some of them also specialize. For instance, I only do reverse mortgages for the last 5 years, only. Why? Because obviously I can identify with most of the people who are looking to get them, and I can, I think, more easily talk about the virtues of them and the fact that they are for everyone. So keep those numbers handy for referral at all time, and don't forget your emergency numbers as well. So Ron Siegel, though, sometimes, breaks in here and gives us our weekly update, but his weekly update is he's updating wine right now. So let me, you know what? I'm looking at the monitor here, and it looks pretty interesting, except for my face, of course. Nothing I can do about that. It takes up much too much of the monitor, but that's, what can I do? But it looks pretty interesting in the background there, right? Well, there's a lot more to it than that. You can see airplanes, you can see rocket ships, you can see big octopus there, maybe. You can also, let me move aside, see a jazz sign that actually comes from an old record store in Los Angeles that I got from a friend of mine, Larry Albright, who does a lot of neon work in the movies. In fact, I have some neon from Star Wars that was also in Blade Runner, that was also in One from the Heart, and all of which was sold when Zoetrope went under, and that's a long story. But I want and I need your questions, but call in. And remember that if you want to see the rest of this set, like what a grand mess my desk really is. It's such a difference from looking behind me. Go ahead to my website, theeducatedretirementradio.com, www.theeducatedretirementradio.com. I went to see a client the other day who had to remind me that you run all the words together and it's all, there are no capitals. Well, sometimes that really upsets me because that's old people who invented this stuff. Anyway, they don't have to be all small. You can have some capitals. You don't have to have capitals. I usually put capitals at the beginning of each letter and each word so it's easier to see. Anyway, take a look at that blog. And one of the last stories has to do with encore careers. That is, older people who have already retired. Not me, because I haven't retired. They've already retired, and now they are looking for, or doing something else. I can't think of a better way to do that than with a reverse mortgage. Can you? You can? No, you can't. Yet Well, call in and find out. Remember, I do have a day job. That day job is working at a place called the Loan Source. And just to be legal here, NMLS, my mortgage lending license number, it is 384465. And the Department of Real Estate number is 792630. Now that 792630 means that I have been licensed as a realtor since the mid-1970s. I sold real estate for 2 years back in the 1970s, and I have not since. You don't want a lender being your realtor. You don't want your realtor being your lender. These are completely separate operations, and you really, really need to get someone who is very specialized. And speaking of a person that's very specialized in keeping track of the time, that would be Sean. Thank you, Sean, for keeping track of the time, for being here, making this possible. And it's time for us to take a short break. So take care of yourself, hang on, and talk to you in a minute.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
New teen driver in the family? Just bought your first home? Have a new bundle of joy? Every life change matters, and by reviewing your insurance policy with Little & Sons Insurance Services, you could be benefiting with big savings. Little & Sons Insurance Services, a family-owned insurance agency who values the old-fashioned way of doing business. They work for you, not an insurance company, meaning your best interests are at heart. They can custom tailor your policy based on specific needs at a price you can afford. Home, auto, or business, you're covered. Call 1-844-9LITTLE. That's 1-844-9LITTLE, or go online to little, the letter N, sons.com. That's littlensons.com.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
Hi, this is Matt Ray with America's First News, heard each weekday morning right here from Washington to Wall Street and covering the world. We bring you the latest news, analysis, interviews, and commentary. What about the opinion, you ask? Well, we leave that one up to you. So grab the coffee and let's go. Join me each weekday morning right here for America's First News with me, Matt Ray.
Weekday mornings, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. right here on KMET AM 1490.
Top Line Industrial Supply, your destination for industrial tools and supplies. We make hoses while you wait, hydraulic, air, water, and custom brake lines. Take advantage of our large selection of fasteners from grade 5 to grade F911 and a full line of stainless steel bolts. Our no-cost outside shop service keeps you stocked at no extra charge. Come by one of our 2 convenient locations in Beaumont and Temecula and visit top-lineindustrial.com. At Top Line Industrial, we don't just sell products, we sell solutions.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorolocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
Decades ago, scientists discovered why Greenland Eskimos maintain healthy hearts despite their high-fat diets. The high level of omega-3 oils in their seafood diet protected their hearts. Carlson Norwegian fish oil provides those important omega-3 oils. The same omega-3s from cold water fish support maximum brain power, immune strength, joint comfort, and our vision too. Carlson, the very finest fish oil, is a valuable source of the important omega-3s, EPA and DHA. Each teaspoon provides a full 1,600 milligrams of omega-3s. And its purity is guaranteed. Try it on salads and popcorn. It tastes like lemon, not fishy. As for Carlson, the very finest fish oil, at finer health food stores today.
Well, hello. Once again, this is Jay Kaplan. This is The Educated Retirement right here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to prepare for and live with retirement. And speaking of living, we are living so much longer these days. Me, I like that idea. I was told about a year ago that the longest living group of people, no, let me say that. Let me restructure. The largest growing group of people in this country were the 85-year-olds. Now that is the 100-year-olds. And we just don't seem to die as quickly. That brings up a lot of questions that I want to bring up with our guest, and hopefully he will be calling in. Some of the questions, now he is an attorney, but what's on my mind is, how about all of those people out there with long-term health care? Do you have long-term health care? I want to know about it. Give us a call. What is my concern? Well, my concern, first of all, I'm too old to get it. I'm sure you know that just by looking at me. But, you know, when you're young, when you're in your 30s, you don't want to think about it, right? You just don't want to think about it. So when we are in our 60s, it's probably pretty loud in our mind. And when we're in our 70s, it's screaming at us. But you know what? We don't qualify anymore. But back when these things started, like remember the 4% rule? And remember, you know, when having, long-term health care was first getting started, we were supposed to retire at 65, and then we would probably die by 70, and now we're living to 100. Are those long-term health care companies prepared to make those kind of payouts? I don't think so. But I know insurance companies have their own insurance. All right, so I'd really like to know about that. But you know what? We have Jack on the phone. Jack, are you there?
I am here. How are you doing?
Jack. All right, I'm sorry that it's my fault that you're not seeing Jack's face right now. The reason you're not seeing Jack's face is my fault. So people have to look at me, but they can turn it off. They can just listen, okay? Now, Jack, I already gave a whole bunch about who you are and that stuff on the first time. And I read a bunch of stuff off of your website saying how wonderful you are because, you know, sometimes I know people like yourself don't want to say how wonderful you are. But so I said it for you, okay?
Well, I appreciate that.
Give me 2 minutes to do what my wife always does. Writes this stuff for me, and if I don't say it, she gets pissed. And, I know you don't do marriage or family law particularly, but, we don't want to get into that. So I'm going to run through this as fast as possible, and then we're going to read it right to you. Famous people's birthdays today. Charles Richter. He popped out in 1900 and earned his wings in 1985. That's even one I can do in my mind. He lasted till he was 85. Now, if that sounds familiar, remember Richter scale. So there. Carol Burnett also was born in 1933, and she's still around like the rest of us. Best known for the Carol Burnett Show that went 279 episodes. And it was the first such type of show that was led by a woman that ran from 1967 to 1978, won 25 Emmy Awards. And Bobby Rydell was born in 1942, and he too is still around. So he started singing on a television talent show. Like what they have now with America's Got Talent and all that other stuff, which I really don't watch much, but I guess those shows were around way back then. He was also the youngest entertainer to play at the Copacabana in 1961 New York. He also played in Bye Bye Birdie with Anne Margaret, and he still performs after having a double liver and kidney transplant. I don't think he jumps around as much, but so be it. He's there. Let's get back to Jack before we, not. So I know that, Jack, go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself. I was just bragging about you. Now you can tell the rest of it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the bragging. As you stated, my name is Jack Styskal. If you're looking me up, you'll find me as John. I'm one of those nice, confusing folks who like to have a nickname the same number of letters as my real name. I'm an attorney with the law offices of Kinley and Styskal, located in Orange County. For more information about our firm or to discuss any legal questions you may have, you can contact us through our website at kinleyandstyskal.com. That's KinleyandStyskal.com. Or you can give us a call at 657-859-9095. And I want everyone to keep in mind that this discussion is solely for general information purposes only, and I do not want anyone taking any actions or refraining from taking any actions based on the information gained today without speaking to an attorney first.
Preferably you.
Yes,
so the only call
ideal.
to action that we are considering is calling you, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, when I was talking a little bit ago, I was talking about long-term health care, the fact that we're living so much longer today, and I was starting to muse about whether long-term health care companies actually had a future, things like that. But let's start out by discussing the fact that most people know that they should get a trust, right? I mean, most people know that. What they don't know is why they need to get a trust. Some do, but I'd say the majority of people I talk to don't. So, and then, of course, from there we get into probate and other topics like that.
All that fun stuff, exactly. Everyone seems to have this understanding that you do need to get your trust done. But I hardly ever find people who, one, understand the difference between a will and a trust, or two, understand exactly why. And I feel if they did know why, it may not be one of those back burner items as it is now. Everybody seems to think, well, I've got my bills that need to get paid. I can wait on my trust. But as we know, anyone could pass at any time. And the beauty of a trust is that it makes sure that your assets are going to be passed as efficiently and as much of that estate is going to be passed as possible. What people don't understand is, especially here in California, we have the probate law, which states that if your estate in total is worth over $150,000, you have to go to court. And that's true if you don't have a will or if you do have a will. And, that may seem all fine and dandy. However, if anyone's been involved with the court system, that's where attorneys really make their money. And it's definitely not a speedy process. Living in California, I'd say pretty much anyone who owns real property here is over that 150,000 mark. And that leaves us is having to go to probate court. And what most people don't know, which I know from my practice, is right now we had a restructuring of our court system back in 2010 where they took all the probate courts of Orange County and made them into one court. They fired all the judges to save money. And so now we have 5 judges who handle all of Orange County. And as hard as those judges work, there is a vast amount of work that they have to get through. And a process that should be taking 10 months is now taking about 3 years. So right there, you've got a 3-year process that your heirs are going to have to go through. Now, speaking about how much of your estate will end up at the end, I mean, I statutorily can make on a probate, just minimum amount I make is 4% of the first 100,000, 3% of the next 100,000, 2% of the next 800,000, and 1% of every 100,000 of the estate that's there. And, that can easily balloon up over $20,000.
Yeah, and that's not your choice. That's not negotiable, correct? Because not up to you at all. It's up to the court, and the court has already made those rules.
Right. That is the statutory rules. I don't set those limits. That's what it is. And so I'm going to get that no matter what I do. And also, the party, who's usually called the administrator if you don't have a will, or the executor if you do have a will, who steps up to do all of this work with me, they get the same amount of money. So you could basically lose 8% of your estate right off the top just because it had to go through this process. Not to mention you have court fees, probate referees, staff that you have to pay that are all on top of that. And if you get any kind of conflict with family, well, we don't even want to go down that path.
No, but I think it could be interesting to hear what some of these conflicts are, but maybe not now. But of course, change the name to protect the innocent. But maybe you don't want to at all because people will recognize themselves. But I hear some horrific stories out there.
It's scary. I often try to talk to my clients and the opposition as a human being, because people get so lost in the law and what they're trying to accomplish that they don't step back and look at the ripples that are occurring from these actions through your personal and family life. I've seen many families get torn apart by these things. And sadly,
and I mean, siblings that thought they were close for 40 years, 50 years, now all of a sudden they're at each other's throat, right?
Absolutely. And it's sad. I've had clients call me and they go, Jack, I need you to contact my sister and find out what she's up to. And I say, I will advise you on what to say to your sister, but the second an attorney calls up your sister, she is now on the defensive, and she's going to lawyer up. And now we've all spent attorney's fees that everybody wants to get back, but there are no rules saying that you should. So now everybody's angry. They've got skin in the game, and so they're going to see it through.
And, this is probably the last thing the departed one or ones ever wanted for their family, for their surviving family.
Absolutely. And a lot of people think they're doing the right thing by getting a will. And a will is a great tool when you have a smaller estate. But once you've hit that 150,000 mark, all a will is directions for the probate court to follow. It doesn't avoid probate court. It's not the same as a trust. It's just a roadmap.
Probate takes a lot more time, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's that 3 years, and you've got accountings that you have to do. There's a bond that you have to get to make sure that whoever's administering isn't going to take off with the money, and then paying all the filing fees. Your initial petition for probate is about $500 to $600, and that's just to get started. And then you can imagine as we keep it moving along, it just keeps ticking away.
Wow.
And, yeah. But if you have the foresight to get a trust, the way I like to explain it to my clients is a trust is basically like a corporation. It's very different, but for the effect of this, it's similar to a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
You set up this company that you are the president and owner of, and then you give all your property to that company. So when you pass away and the probate court looks at you and goes, okay, how much money did they have? Are we doing probate? You don't have anything. The trust owns it. And like a corporation, you have a succession plan. If I'm gone, this person's going to take over. The court has nothing to do with what goes on there. That is just how the trust is built. It's a machine, and it's going to operate that way, and there's no need for anyone to come in and interpret it. The only requirements you have are notice requirements. You need to make sure that any interested party knows what's going on.
Okay, now, Jack, we are getting ready for a break, and I
Sure.
promise you'll have more time in this second segment than we had this segment. I want people, if they can, call in to ask you questions. 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532. And I and Jack will talk to you in just a few moments.
Get up to the minute forecast and temperatures for Beaumont, Banning, Redlands, Palm Springs, your community, national or international cities on KMET's website, KMET1490am.com. The station now features AccuWeather. AccuWeather offers weekend and extended forecasts along with the latest radar map and current conditions. AccuWeather on KMET1490am.com. Logged in every morning for your daily forecast.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Welcome back this Friday afternoon. Hopefully you're not behind the wheel standing still, wheel of a car standing still. But this is the Educated Retirement here on KMET 1490 AM. Give us a call, 951-922-3532. And we are speaking with Jack, otherwise known as John. And he had a kind of a late start, my fault on the show. So we'll give him some more time now. So go ahead and, again, introduce yourself, Jack, but make sure you give your contact information first, and then we'll get back to where we were.
Sounds great. As Jay said, my name is Jack, also known as John Styskal, and I'm an attorney with the law offices of Kinley and Styskal, located in Orange County. If you'd like to talk to us about any issues or get more information, we do have our website, KinleyandStyskal.com. That's KinleyandStyskal.com. Or you can give us a call at 657-859-9095. And we handle all sorts of estate and estate planning, trust, probate, all that fun stuff. So give us a call.
Okay. Now, as I've said a few times before on the show, I do remember being in the crib, but I don't remember what we were talking about 3 minutes ago when we went on break.
Sounds great. We were discussing how a trust allows us to avoid the long and expensive process of probate. And I was stating to the listeners that a trust is similar, not the same as a corporation, in that it is an entity of its own, and you give it ownership over your property so that when
so it's like a standalone entity, so it's not like this is yours, this is your job. I mean, everything is kind of lined up. Everybody knows what they're going to do, and probably they will not be arguing. You never get out of that altogether. But the idea is if they're going to argue, at least they're arguing over something that the parents put in place, not just because they're all of a sudden all want to be in charge.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the idea. If you can draft a trust carefully, is to avoid probate, keep the peace amongst the children, and make sure things run smoothly and efficiently. With probate, especially right now, with just our 5 judges handling all of Orange County, I've been seeing my probates reach up to 3 years before the clients get distribution, which if you're hoping to, there are a lot of expenses that occur very quickly. And a lot of times my clients have to use their own money to take care of those expenses. And then once probate gets going, they don't get compensated until the end of probate, 3 years later. Whereas if we have our trust in place and you properly fund it, now that's the key. Unfortunately, a lot of people get a trust, but they don't understand that nothing was actually put in there. And that doesn't help you out. You've got to make sure you fund your trust. Because if you do, all you have to do is your trustee has to do, the person who's managing your trust when you're gone, has to give notice to anyone who would be interested in your estate. Give them notice that they have 120 days to object to this distribution, to this trust. If nobody objects in that time, you can distribute. It's pretty easy.
And compared to probate, that's 2 years earlier?
Yeah, exactly. It gets messy, and probates can be long, and they oftentimes get sloppy.
And and if you're expecting to get to get money from the estate, a lot of that is going to be eaten up by the probate.
And by me, unfortunately.
I consider that probate, part of the probate process.
Absolutely.
Would be having to have an attorney involved, and one that you trust, like you.
Exactly.
We talked before you got on the air here. We talked about you being part of a household board of directors. Your name and phone number should be on that list that's stuck on the refrigerator, along with realtors and financial planners, mortgage people, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. It's great to have your team. I don't want to do the taxes. I want your accountant to advise you on that. I don't want to tell you where to put your money to make it.
I don't want to do my taxes either.
Yeah. I want to make sure that there's a nice, beautiful bow wrapped around your estate, so when it's time to pass it on, your heirs can focus on mourning their departed and not mourning the fact that they have to jump through a million hoops. And unfortunately, they have to deal with me for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, at least you're friendly, right? At least a family can have a friend.
Absolutely. The attorneys here are my father, my sister, and I, and we're all very friendly. We like to make people feel comfortable, that we care about them, and really help them through.
And you have a trust, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple.
That was kind of a joke, but so now, one thing we were talking about before you got on was the fact that people are living so much longer now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think there's a lot of situations that occur because of that. that probably wouldn't be there if people didn't live that long. I personally think it's a good thing to live a lot longer, but your expenses kind of pop up quite a bit when you do live longer. Do you find you're getting anything related to that kind of situation, or do you see any change or in maybe what your phone calls are because people are living longer?
Absolutely. I have been seeing a lot of people who are having to go on government programs such as Medi-Cal or Medicaid, and those are nice. You know, they're helpful, but what people don't understand is when you do pass, they want their money back. Whatever they've paid into you, they want to get it back. And they want to do that by liquidating your assets, especially your real property.
Right.
So if you haven't planned for your longer years, your years are eating up your estate that you could pass to your children.
Yeah. Now, I think Medi-Cal is a good thing. You know, I think people being taken care of is overall a good thing. It's just that when you have choices of how to take care of your health, it's not necessarily the first choice on the list, I wouldn't think.
Absolutely. I do not mean to speak ill of Medi-Cal or Medicaid in any way. We all pay into...
Oh, no, we understand that. Didn't sound like you were.
Yeah, it's a great resource. Unfortunately, people don't always understand that they have to pay it back. It's going to eat up your estate, and a lot of people could be left with nothing at the end.
Right. Now we're not going to talk about reverse mortgages here. We're going to talk about you. But I will throw in that the number one reason I get appointments these days for reverse mortgages, many times into homes worth up to $6 million, is because these people have no long-term health care and they want to protect their estate. And, you know, to me, the largest problem or the biggest threat to anyone's estate is health care. It's not a home loan, it's health care. Yeah. So, and I've done a lot of reverse mortgages also for people who have Medi-Cal, and it's okay. Does it affect? Yes, it affects how you take your money with the reverse mortgage, but you can still do it easily. I think with Medi-Cal, you can still be driving a Rolls Royce. You can still have a $10 million home on the beach, right? Well, I guess those are like 20 million these days. And you can have a few million in your retirement account. But you can't have more than a couple thousand at the end of every month in your bank account, right? Something like that?
Yeah, I believe it's $500 is what you can end up with. You can have ebbs and flows, but it
so people do get the reverse mortgage, and if they need it for whatever, a trip around the world, or if they need it for health care, they take out what is required for the expenses that month, and then we're fine. But, if you can get long-term health care one way or the other, I mean, most of us are too old. So what kind of thing do you tell us oldies that don't have it?
Well, it's time to start looking at what assets you have, because if you're in the older years, the long-term health care can be quite a beast to pay for.
You're not saying if when you're looking at me, are you?
No. You don't get as great a rate as your years go on. If you have,
I still see a 24-year-old when I look in the mirror, but I have myself pretty well educated for that.
Oh yeah, I still see myself as a teen, but then I look and see all these gray hairs coming in, and I wonder where the years go.
I see gray hairs on other people, and I hope I'll be able to put up with it when it happens.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we can't hear the laughter out there. But then again, we have to have people listening. But there are, right? Right, Sean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, before we go, which will be just a few, we're here for a few more minutes, but I do want to thank Sean for his part. He's our engineer. Without him, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you, Sean. And so what would you say, Jack, when the phone rings, what's the likelihood of, what's that call going to be about? Or what do you get the most? If I ask that question to a financial planner, he's going to answer, and he has always answered, I get more calls from people who want to take money out of their investments more than anything else. What kind of calls do you get most of, or is there such a thing in your world?
Well, I get a lot of people who, sadly, I get a lot of siblings who are wary of their siblings, worrying about whether or not they are manipulating mom and dad into changing their documents and things like
see,
that.
I have a lot of problems because I'm the oldest of one.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, it's what it is. But, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's a sad state, but, usually my advice, I don't want to get involved at that stage because, like I said earlier, the second an attorney starts calling a sibling, everybody lawyers up and there's no going back. But the advice I do give is if you are concerned about your parents' ability to be influenced, you should schedule an appointment to get their competency established at that point. Because if you wait until they've passed away and you try to contest some sort of document that's been done, the court, it's very difficult to prove somebody's state of mind after they're already gone. Or, looking back.
Oh, that brings up a whole, Sean, can we start a whole nother show now? I just thought of a lot more questions regarding power of attorneys and health, whatever those things are called.
Healthcare directive.
Yeah. So, we're going to have you back. What do you think, Jack?
That.
You coming back?
Absolutely.
Okay. I got an opening in 2 weeks, so write that down or let me know later if that doesn't work.
That should work.
And anyway, but so when it comes to those things, what can we add in the couple of minutes we have left?
Just be kind to your siblings. Don't accuse anybody of anything. Get the documentation of your parents' mental condition because you can do a benchmark. This day, they were this condition.
Good idea. Never thought of that.
Anything after then is nullified because you already saw it here. No doctor will go back and say what someone's mental condition was if they didn't assess them for it.
And I know when we do a reverse mortgage, and I suspect for all mortgages, and I also suspect for almost anything that has legal ramifications, when you have a power of attorney, I need a doctor's letter written when the power of attorney was done saying that the subject had a clear mind.
Exactly.
And then I will need another one later saying that they don't have a clear mind. And I'll need that power of attorney recorded. So what age do you think someone... I don't think people should wait until there's a problem for any of this to happen. Get a power of attorney now. I'm only in my 70s, so maybe I can wait 30 years before I give anybody a power of attorney. But what age do you think, or is there such a question?
I don't think there is.
We all have. It doesn't matter. We can get run over by a bus anytime. I mean, I'd probably dent the bus, but other than that.
Yeah, exactly. There is no age. As soon as you have people you care about, loved ones that you want to take care of, or you own property, you should get your estate in order. Get your trust done. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'll make a lot more money.
Wow. Well, anyway, I want you one more time, give your contact information. And I know you have an Orange County office, but that doesn't mean anything. You can get anywhere, right?
Absolutely. I can travel. My car works great.
And your phone works even better, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead and give your information one more time.
Sounds good. I am John Styskal with the law offices of Kinley and Styskal. And if you have any questions or want any more information, you can reach us either through our website at kinleyandstyskal.com, KinleyandStyskal.com, or you can give us a call at 657-859-9095.
Thank you so much. And like I said on the previous show, I'm going to take Harry Morgan's words and let you know that Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn